Today, we're delving into the fascinating topic of generational curses. Have no fear because we're going to unravel the mystery of generational curses. Get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment as we explore the origins of generational curses and uncover powerful strategies for breaking free from their influence. But before we delve deeper into this discussion, let me remind you to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This ensures that you are always updated with our insightful and thought-provoking discussions. Have you ever thought about why certain experiences repeat in families, generation after generation? This question may have popped into your mind if you witnessed repeated scenarios happening in your family or the families of others. Maybe you've noticed recurring negative behaviors, habits, or life circumstances that seem to repeat themselves like a déjà vu, following your family lineage. These phenomena are not mere coincidences, nor is it the result of genetics. There is a term for these repeating patterns and it's called generational curses. This concept is often misunderstood. They're the unseen glue that binds families to certain unseen fates and destinies across the generations. You may ask, how does it originate, persist, and most importantly, how can it be broken? Today we will unravel the mystery of generational curses, their origins, why they persist, and most importantly how to break them. What is a generational curse? This is a question that has been asked by many but hardly ever answered with complete clarity. Simply put, a generational curse is a repetitive cycle of negative patterns, negative behaviors, traumas or habits that persist in families and passes from one generation to the next. Consider a family where alcohol or drug dependency appears as ingrained as their genetic traits. Or a lineage where dropping out of high school seems commonplace rather than exceptional. These scenarios exemplify generational curses. These are not literal curses as if a hex or black magic spell was placed, but rather a transfer of patterns and behaviors that were inadvertently passed down from one generation to the next. They resemble family heirlooms passed down through the ages, yet instead of symbolizing value or positive heritage, they carry burdensome and detrimental traits. These are the things we wish to avoid for ourselves and our children, yet they often manifest without our awareness. It's important to state that generational curses aren't about blaming or pointing the finger at our elders and ancestors. Rather, it's about recognizing their existence and understanding their impact. This awareness marks the initial step toward breaking the cycle. Similar to cleaning out our closets, once we open the door and see what's inside, we can begin deciding what to discard. With a clearer understanding of what constitutes a generational curse, let's delve into how they originate. How do they start? Generational curses have a beginning, and they often start with a harmful behavior or traumatic event that passes down throughout the generations like an unwanted contagious disease. Take, for instance, the Baptiste family, where incest recurs across generations. Or the Patel family, where mental health issues afflict many members. Then there's the Williams family, where addiction becomes a coping mechanism for life's challenges. Or the Ortiz family, where incarceration before 30 is expected among the men. Similarly, the Lee family experiences detachment, with infrequent communication among family members. Or the Rosenberg family, where domestic violence is common. Then there's the Colombo family, where not a single member possesses a college degree. These are not mere coincidences, they signify deeper underlying causes. To fully understand generational curses, we must explore two key elements: trauma and environment. It doesn't matter if the trauma is physical, emotional, or psychological, it leaves a profound imprint on its victims. This imprint can influence the victim's behaviors, reactions, and their worldviews. When trauma isn't properly addressed, its imprint can easily be passed down, creating a ripple effect of pain and suffering. An example would be, if a son and daughter witness domestic violence in their home and their resulting trauma isn't adequately addressed, it can create lasting harm that they may pass on, potentially making them vulnerable to becoming victims or perpetrators of domestic violence themselves. This cycle could continue if the trauma isn't addressed in subsequent generations, perpetuating the pattern of violence. Growing up in an environment where negative actions like committing crimes are normalized, can lead individuals to adopt these behaviors, unaware of their detrimental effects. If a mother approves of her son's drug-selling activities because she stands to gain from the profits and luxuries, the son is inclined to continue this behavior without fully comprehending the harm it inflicts on individuals, families, and the community. Similarly, if a father overlooks his daughter's shoplifting and she faces no repercussions, these actions are likely to persist, with the daughter remaining unaware of the financial burden imposed on business owners and the detrimental effects on employees. This is where generational curses can take root and grow. Consider what happens when the two elements of trauma and environment intertwine. A traumatic event is highly likely to occur, altering perceptions and behaviors. Since the altered behaviors are seen as normal, they will unknowingly get passed down through the generations, creating a cycle that can seem impossible to break. This cycle characterizes a generational curse. It's important to realize that generational curses are not the end of the world. They are patterns, and patterns can be changed and manipulated. For change to occur, understanding is required. Why do they continue? A combination of factors, including lack of awareness, learned behaviors, remaining silent, and the inability to change, contributes to the continuation of family patterns. These elements collectively hinder families from breaking free from repetitive cycles. Let's examine each factor in detail. First, acknowledgement of these issues is crucial for initiating change. You've likely heard the saying, "Children are like sponges," emphasizing how children absorb behaviors from their environment, often unconsciously adopting learned behaviors from their parents or caregivers, such as cursing, smoking cigarettes, or agreeing with corporal punishment for children. These ingrained patterns, formed from a young age, can overshadow conscious choices. Learned behaviors encompass the attitudes and responses inherited from previous generations. However, many individuals fail to reflect on their lives and understand the origins of their actions, remaining unaware that their behaviors stem from familial patterns. This lack of awareness perpetuates cycles of poverty, addiction, and unhealthy relationships inherited from predecessors. Without this realization, change becomes unattainable. Opting to stay silent and abstain from proactive measures to break free, even upon realizing that the family has inherited harmful patterns, will perpetuate the generational curses within the family. Furthermore, change is not easy. It can be difficult for many, or even impossible for some. Change requires courage, determination, and resilience, making it challenging for some individuals. Many find comfort in familiarity, even if it's harmful, and emotional factors like fear, guilt, or shame can further entrench individuals in generational cycles, making it difficult to break free. You will have setbacks, but be resilient, learn from your mistakes, and start over again. How to break the cycle? To liberate yourself from generational curses, you must be willing to step beyond your comfort zone. The initial phase involves recognizing their existence within your family and identifying the persistent patterns. Are there recurring instances of high school dropouts, incarceration, teenage pregnancy, homelessness, domestic violence, addiction, financial instability, or fractured relationships? Once these patterns are identified, the next step is to break the silence. Open communication and addressing these generational curses within the family are crucial. Establishing a safe environment for candid discussions about past traumas, personal experiences, and differing perspectives is key. This is also an opportune time to embrace forgiveness, not necessarily for the sake of those who caused harm, but for your own healing and the liberation of future generations. The final step involves a committed decision to change. This change can commence by opting for different reactions to familiar situations. For instance, responding to stress with aromatherapy, or addressing anger through exercise, rather than resorting to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Should you encounter difficulty initiating this shift, seeking therapy can provide effective strategies and guidance. You have joined me on this transformative journey about breaking generational curses. We clarified the concept of generational curses, dispelling misconceptions about them being linked to black magic or voodoo spells. We highlighted the recurring patterns of destructive behaviors and negative traits transmitted across generations, providing examples. We discussed their origins and why they persist. We explored methods to break this cycle and create a positive legacy for succeeding generations. The key strategies for breaking generational curses include fostering self-awareness, gaining understanding, breaking the silence, and making a steadfast commitment to change. Empowered with this knowledge, you possess the capability to disrupt familial patterns. If you found this content thought-provoking and engaging, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to share it with your friends.